Neuropathy absolutely can be reversed. If you're suffering from symptoms like burning, tingling, sharp pain, numbness, sensitivity to hot and cold in the hands or feet, you may be suffering from neuropathy and could benefit from this information. At the end of the day, it boils down to this. Neuropathy is a blood flow issue 90% of the time. There are situations where it is a nerve root problem that needs to be addressed from a structural perspective, but the vast majority of the time, and even when it is a nerve root problem, there's usually a level of a lack of blood flow element to it. So I just want you to imagine for a second that the palm of my hand is the nerves in the hand and feet, and then my fingers are the blood vessels that bring the oxygen and nutrients to these nerves so that they can work correctly. What happens with neuropathy is that these blood vessels shrink and deteriorate, cutting off the supply of oxygen and nutrients to these nerves, which causes them to go haywire, which is why there are so many different symptoms related to neuropathy. Whatever it is, it's because these nerves can't work right because of a lack of oxygen and nutrients. All our program seeks to do is to replenish that blood supply and re-educate those nerves to work right. It's simple, not easy. And if you're one of those people who's thinking it's impossible, you cannot repair nerve damage, you are partially right. When it comes down to it, there are actually two different types of nerve damage: permanent nerve damage and repairable nerve damage. There are three parts to the nerve: the axon, the body, and the dendrite. The axon and the dendrites are the way that our nerves send signals to and from it to other tissues and cells in order to relay information. The body is the control center. It is what determines where that signal needs to go. If the body of the nerve cell dies, the whole cell dies. There is no creating new nerves. But if the damage is done on the axon and the dendrites and the lack of blood flow is here and the myelin sheath is degenerating, all of that is repairable and where our program really flourishes. The other aspect of things is neuroplasticity. Even if there is a level of nerve damage where nerve cells are lost, similar to brain surgery where someone has had part of their brain removed and they've lost certain skills and abilities, but through rehabilitation we're able to redevelop them. Like if you suffer from balance problems or issues with walking, the way that our protocol works is to re-stimulate those nerves to make new connections to regain those abilities. That's neuroplasticity. So how do we do it? It comes down to three things: the metabolic function of the body, regenerating blood vessels, and re-educating the nerves. The metabolic aspect of things is providing the body with the nutrients it needs to regrow those blood vessels and to heal. Certain nutrients like L-glutathione, L-arginine, L-citrulline, these all stimulate nitric oxide release, which can help improve blood flow and create new blood vessels. The other aspect of metabolic function is if there's a reason that this neuropathy is happening in the first place. If you suffer from diabetes, have been through chemo, have thyroid problems, fibromyalgia, autoimmune disorders, intestinal disorders, then there is a metabolic dysfunction going on in the body that is causing the neuropathy in the first place and causing that blood flow degeneration. So fixing the gut is a huge portion of that. And that is part of our program in almost every single case, is improving the overall gut function so it can use those nutrients that stimulate blood flow to improve the gut function so that it can absorb and utilize the nutrients for the regrowth of blood vessels. Next step is stimulating the body to regrow those blood vessels. Our body is able to heal, but as we get older, our body tends to degenerate more than it regenerates. So using the right piece of technology in order to stimulate blood cell growth is huge. The best device out there is called a MIRE, monochromatic infrared energy, or low-level laser light therapy. The wavelength that is absolutely needed in this case is 890 nanometers. There's a lot of devices out there that are 850 and below, but we have 27 peer-reviewed studies that show that 890 nanometers is the level of wavelength it has to be at in order to create angiogenesis, in order to create blood cell growth. Some other ways that you can improve blood flow and reduce symptoms is through exercise, is through stretching, massage, heat, and there's some really great topical creams that stimulate localized circulation, and I've included that in my packet. And then the last thing we have to do is re-educate the nerves to work the way that they're supposed to. Again, this golden standard is a DETS device, a digital electrotherapeutic stimulation. The Rebuilder is the best example. It has an AI unit in it that sends a signal down one side of the nerve of the body, through the spinal cord, out through the other nerve on the other side, and senses that signal. With neuropathy, it doesn't come out the same way we go in with that pulse wave. And it'll recalibrate its stimulation based on your needs. It can tell whether it's working with a 300-pound linebacker or a 90-pound woman. And this device normalizes, retrains, and re-educates the nerves again, to work the way it's supposed to. This is the quickest way to improve symptoms in as little as 90 days. However, it won't have that lasting correction without that improvement in blood flow. This unit is often compared to a TENS unit, which actually does the opposite of what we want to do. TENS units block nerve stimuli, but if you're just looking for some symptom relief, you can absolutely use the TENS unit, but if you want to correct the neuropathy, then you want to go with the Rebuilder or another DETS device. Other ways you can improve your nerve stimulation right at home is through balance exercises, particularly on a vibe plate. Vibe plates increase proprioception and nerve firing, which will absolutely improve symptoms. And that's it. That's all it takes to reverse neuropathy. Improve the metabolic function, improve the blood flow, and retrain and re-educate the nerves. It's that simple. Not easy, but it's that simple. If you're looking for more help and more guidance and this just wasn't enough for you, feel free to reach out. As I said, our office has over a 96% success rate at completely reversing neuropathy. If you're living with neuropathy, then I know it's having a massive impact on your life, and we're here to help. But thanks for listening, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey.